vertical grip, A7, Metabones from Sony E mount to EF mount, the XLR audio adapter, A7S2 from Sony. Let's unbox them. If you followed my stuff for a while, you know I'm pretty much exclusively a Canon shooter and have been for a while. Started with the 60D, started getting some lenses. My wife and I bought a 5D Mark III to help with her wedding and portrait photography. Then now I shoot on a Canon C100 Mark II. And while I do have a little Sony RX100 Mark IV point and shoot that I use for travel and vlogging and things, pretty much all my stuff, camera and lens wise, is Canon. Now I've been hearing a lot about the Sony a7s Mark II, as well as the a7R Mark II, and I wanted to get my hands on one to actually shoot some test footage, do a review of it, and decide maybe I'll switch from Canon over to Sony if I like what they have to offer. But I also got this vertical grip that will make the camera body a little bit bigger. When I was hands-on with the A7 series the first time, they just feel really small. So mainly I'm getting the grip just so I have more of a camera to hold on to when I'm shooting stuff, as well as this XLR system. This is the XLR-K1M. I know there's a K2M also that actually is cheaper and sits on top of the camera by itself, but this is a great audio interface for these A7 cameras. And then this is what's gonna make it all work with my Canon EF lenses, is the EF adapter from Metabones to actually put Canon glass on an A7 series. And yeah, that's everything. So in this video, I'm going to be unboxing these things, talking about how I'm going to set them up to use them as a test. And then in future videos, I'll be doing full videos on test footage and my thoughts on this camera, as well as maybe I'll switch, who knows? Some people have switched, a lot of people have switched from Canon to this kind of series camera, and maybe I will too. So let's go ahead and start unboxing and get going with looking at this equipment. So let's actually start with a camera, since that's the most interesting thing that people want to see usually. So go ahead and open the top here. It's opening this way. On the top, you have your warranty and stuff. Warranty talks about their app, manual, the usual paperwork. Then you're getting a camera strap, just says A7 on it. We'll save the camera body. This looks like a little attachment that goes on the side, actually. Let me get this thing out of here. So this goes on the side of the camera and it helps you route some of your audio cords, your HDMI cord, your multi-cord. And so I've seen this screwed on the side of these cameras before. Next, looks like a battery charger here for the batteries for the A7S2. Nothing else there. This looks like a smaller charger to actually charge it via USB. So you got a little AC adapter here. Probably to run it off AC continuously, I would assume. Looks like a couple batteries. It's nice that it comes with two. Most cameras only come with one. And that'll be really handy because the battery grip uses two. Then you have a tiny little USB cord that I'm assuming you can use with this to run your camera off AC. Probably gonna need a USB extension or a longer version of this eventually. And then we have the camera. Looks like the last thing in the box there. And this thing is tiny, very small. I wouldn't say tiny. In my hands, it fits pretty well. I mean, you're not really using the bottom half of your hand, which is interesting, but it's a pretty solid camera and excited to use it. So that's what you get in the box. Basically, you get the camera. You get the little USB cord, you get the little A7 camera strap, the battery charger, you get two batteries, and you get the little attachment cable, and then, yeah, all the paperwork and stuff like that. But that's the bulk of what you get is the camera. some charging, some batteries, a strap, paperwork. All right, next, let's go to battery grip. All right, battery grip, the VG-C2EM vertical battery grip for the A7 series. Like I said, got this because it adds more battery capacity as well as a little more weight to the camera body for hand holding. So you get some paperwork, warranty, manual, stuff like that. And then you get the battery grip. So that's pretty much it. Nothing fancy, just you get the grip here, you get this open, and this will go right into the battery compartment here on the A7S II, and it'll not necessarily double its size, but you can see that it's pretty close to the same height as the other one, but it'd be really good for taking portrait direction photos this way, and it'll actually add more battery power and just make the camera a little bit bigger, which might not seem like the normal thing that most people want to do. They want to have really tiny cameras, but when you're hand holding, just having this extra part on the bottom to keep it steady, it's going to be helpful. So that's why I wanted to pick up one of these along with the A7S II. Let's keep going. Let's go to the XLR adapter. XLR adapter here. This is the XLR-K1M, and I know there is a K2M, and I wish I would have done a little bit more research beforehand because this one is a little bit more expensive and actually doesn't attach as easily or as simply as the K2 one does. So when you open this up, you get a nice little carrying case, which for this kind of stuff that's kind of fragile is really nice. You're getting a little microphone, which is great because most recorders don't come with microphones. So this one is going to be able to attach right to the adapter to your camera. Has an XLR cable there, already has a little foam windscreen on it as well. Then you have the adapter part. So this holds your microphone there. You also have two XLR inputs here. So one of them is typically going to be this microphone, but let's say you had two wireless kits and you wanted to plug those in there, that's what you would get. You have another hot shoe spot on the top. Technically it's a cold shoe, but another place to mount something. So you could mount your wireless receiver for your lavalier microphones. You could put a light there, whatever you want. And this thing is the main difference between the K1M and the K2M that I was talking about. So this has two different places to mount it to the camera, but this one kind of doesn't have any information. It's just kind of a placement, whereas this one actually connects it to the camera. So when we have our A7, we would put this in here, and then now I have to find another place to mount this, which is not ideal. The K2M actually makes it so this one mounts all in one. It's just there's no little cable part, and it goes like that. So if I was buying it again and possibly returning this one to get the K2, the benefits of having this thing though is you can attach this somewhere else. So if you had a gimbal, you could attach it up top. You could put it down a tripod handle or a monopod, and it moves it out of the way. So there are benefits to having it in this fashion, but most of the time, right on top is probably the best option. Also in there, you have another little hot shoe, cold shoe adapter piece thing, which might possibly have another way to attach things, but this little carrying case is kind of nice. Doesn't even, oh, there's a little Sony logo on it. I thought it didn't say Sony on it so people wouldn't steal it or know what it was, but pretty handy case. Cool little device, actually built by the camera manufacturer to enable you to shoot with XLR right into the camera and have it go through the hot shoe adapter instead of a microphone port that has different gain that you have to play with volume levels on both. So it's nice. And then there's this little rattly thing for the camera strap on each side. So that's that stuff. Lastly, we'll do the Metabones adapter. We'll put on a Canon lens and we'll wrap up. One bonus of doing an unboxing video is if you choose to return this stuff, you can remember what went in what and in what fashion and bag and paperwork and all that stuff. So if you shoot an unboxing, you'll remember how to put it back together before you send it back. Last up, I have the Metabones adapter. This is version 4 of the Metabones. It's the Mark IV Canon EF to E-mount T Mark IV Metabones. Not expecting much in this box other than the adapter, but open it up. Looks like it comes with a nice little carrying case here for it. Open it up. Adapter, and yeah, that's about it. It's got a nice little padding spot there at the bottom for the adapter, a separate carrying case, so this isn't flying around in your bag, because it's small. It's the size of a lens this way, but it's a pretty tiny adapter this direction. So I can already kind of see how this will work. I have this front section here that has a red dot and a white dot for an EF lens with a red dot, or an EF-S lens with a white mount, so that's pretty handy. I can see this little clicker here that'll help with clicking in the lens and making sure it's a snug fit. So that's pretty cool. Then that looks like a USB port, which is pretty awesome. So these can actually be updated firmware-wise through that little USB port. It doesn't come with a cable, but it's a pretty standard cable connector. There is a tripod connector on the bottom. So if you have, this tiny camera and then a bigger, let's say 70 to 200 or some other big Canon lens, you can use this little tripod screw and attach this to your tripod plate instead of your camera and having it be top heavy, or your lens if your lens doesn't have a mount. 7200 is a bad example. That one has a little tripod mount on it, but like an 85 mil or another big lens, it's pretty handy. And then the back here, twist that off, you can see the contact points for the electronics, and then there's a little white dot there, which I'm assuming lines up with the white dot on the A7 or A7S2, A7R2, or whatever you're using it for. So pretty cool little piece of equipment. Now I'm going to actually attach them to each other. So let's go ahead and grab the A7S. I'll unscrew it there with the sensor. Go ahead and unscrew this. Find the white dot. Line it up. Heard the click, so that's good to go. The mount is now on there. You can see it's a little bit, let me take this part off. So it's a little bit smaller than the width of the camera body, maybe about half that it does add to the width of the overall. But if you're going to Canon, you're going to be using bigger lenses. So if you're getting a Sony Alpha series and you're getting a Metabones, you're putting some bigger lenses on it, so you're not really concerned about having the camera be super thin. So I'm going to now put the camera lens on here. So take off the 2 caps here, line up the red line, go ahead and turn it, clicked into place there, you can see. And now I can't actually unturn it. You'd have to actually pull this tab back to loosen it up, but we're good to go. And now it's a little top heavy, which the battery adapter thing will help with a little bit, but it is a little front heavy. So if I was going to shoot photos or video with this, I'd probably support it around here versus supporting it back here, just because it's a little front heavy. But you can see attached perfectly. Metabones, excited to try this out and see how quick the focus is compared to on a Canon camera or something like that. But pretty cool setup. We got the battery pack. I can go ahead and put that in if I wanted. Nope, I gotta take off that door, I think. That door came off. You go battery pack. And you gotta actually screw it into the tripod thread there. Okay, so if I was shooting portraits, I could go that way. This way, I kind of have a little bit more sturdy of a thing to hold on to, or I could hold on to the lens. But I like this part here. Feels sturdier, feels a little bigger to be able to shoot with that. And then, yeah, but then, you know, put this on, and then you have a tiny little C100 almost for about the same price, you know, $3.5, $4 grand, 4,500 around there to get this set up. But this thing's shooting 4K, has a stabilization. So that wraps up this unboxing. I know it was long. There's a lot of different pieces here, but this was more of a kit that I wanted to put together than a single piece of equipment and show you what was in the box. It was actually, how can I build out what I have with my C100 with Sony without going to their cinema cameras, because sometimes you just like to be a little bit more discreet. If you have a setup like this, you're not usually stopped, versus if you have a cinema camera that's on your shoulder, they'll be like, hey, what are you filming? But if you can take this thing, pretend like you're taking photos, take some video, be a pretty solid setup. So I'm excited to test this out. More videos to come in the future. I've been Caleb Wojcik with DIY Video Guy, and I'll see you guys in another one. Cheers.